you all, and we'll start the ball rolling by asking Professor Hoven to give us the project, what it is, and then after that, I'll ask our panelists to also chime in, especially also the Prof for, because we started this as a hopefully to be a sister project to what we have in Europe. Over to you, Prof.
There's almost as many people up here as there are out there, but don't think that we're, it's us against you. We're in this together. Okay, so that's the bottom line. So the GRITT program is a research training program. It is to train Guyanese people who conduct research. So that you don't have to be dependent on outsiders coming in with research. We have tremendous expertise in the education system here. We're at UG because UG is committed to the excellence in training and education and research. And we're here to help that process to the extent possible. Underlying concerns that we have, and we've heard many times in this meeting, is the high rate of suicide in Guyana. And the high rate of suicide related to all kinds of mental health issues. But those are not the only issues, but they are related to many things that you're all familiar with, whether it's car crashes, whether it's drowning, whether it's falls, whether it's poison. These are all, almost all, preventable injuries. We have here on the panel people who have a wealth of experience in injury prevention. There's a lot of research that's already gone on in this field. We are trying to bring suicide to make that part of it. And there's a recognition that suicide is a big element of injury prevention. We're trying to bring it together, and we need your help to do that. And we also need people to be willing to take on the fellowship, come in here, and become trained to do the research. We have the expertise in the research. You have the expertise in Guyanese and the problems that exist here in mental health and injury that we want to try to eradicate together. As I said, we want to get Guyana off of that top 10. That's the goal. And injury prevention is a big part of doing that. So I don't want to take too much time because there's a lot of people need to talk. I do want to say that the next speaker, probably in this group here, has the most experience in injury prevention research and heads a large injury prevention center at Columbia. We are fortunate to be called a sister center of that CDC center in New York. So he is the co-director, and I hope he can talk about his own history and the work of that the CDC center in New York.
Sure. I'm happy to talk about that. I will talk about that more this afternoon. I want to focus on injury and injury prevention, but I want to also talk about the goals that Dr. Hoven first introduced of what the value of a program like GRITT is, which is funded by the National Institutes of Health in the U.S. And I've been fortunate to be part of two prior efforts like this, one in Botswana and another one in Guatemala. And I will tell you that the decade and a half that those programs have gone on, we call this a capacity strengthening. So the intent here is not for us to research. We don't know, frankly, the questions that are of greatest importance to your country, to Guyana. But it's for us to work with you for a period and then for you to take over and ask those questions, the difficulty of asking the question in the first place, and then answer those questions that have value to the nation, those research questions. And I'll tell you the other thing about research that I love, and I want to elevate this with all of you, is that so the primary goal of research is to produce generalizable knowledge, so important new knowledge, but I will just the experience in these other nations is that it does two other things. One is it brings resources to the nation, right? The act of doing the research itself generates new questions and sends you into different new directions of value. Not simply the project itself. The project is an opportunity to come together, basically, the research project. So it brings those resources. But the other thing is if we can get folks to be published on a global stage, which is an intent of the program here, is to train people not only to do the research of value, but then to work with us to get that published. You'd be surprised how much it gets, well, you noticed as the individual researcher, but it also gets the country noticed. And that brings in other different sorts of opportunities into the nation that perhaps wouldn't otherwise be had. So I think of research, I think of it almost as scientific diplomacy at some level as well. And I don't want to lose sight of that. And so that's why we're so excited about the launch of this program and the opportunity that it could bring for the research projects themselves. But I think there are many other tangential opportunities that are going to emerge from this.
I just want to add one thing. Dr. Branas referred to you all as researchers. I hope there's many people here who are not yet researchers, aspiring to be researchers. You're in programs, you're learning some research skills, and we hope that we can advance those skills so that you become researchers. We're not just seeking people who are already researchers. We're trying to influence a lot of people to go into research. So don't think that we're not for you. We're not already classified as researchers.
And by the way, science is a democratic process in its most basic form. So I was just teaching this last week to students and reading a speech that was given by a man named Adu-Krow at Caltech. And the basis of his speech is that science is not a natural way of thinking. Because in fact, scientists are constantly disagreeing with each other. But that's the purpose of science, is to question what has been going on. And it sometimes seems difficult to watch those disagreements, but that's the very nature of science. And that's part of the democratic process, that anyone can step forward and have a good idea and elevate it via a good research process. That's what we want to have. So everybody, and all of you are the way the process works is everyone has that opportunity to step in with some training and be part of the scientific process.
I think the bottom line is thinking is everything.
Yes.
You all can think, you have great ideas, and what we want to do is to empower you to do the research, to bring that to the fore and to publish it, and to bring more research resources to Guyana. So it's an iterative process, and we all need a part of it. Nobody has all the answers.
Thank you, Dr. Branas and Hoven. I'd like to call Dr. Mielenz next, so that you know what is being done and the process as it is. And then when we finish, we can go to some of it. Then when she finishes, George and Megan can come in, and then we go to some of the lectures.
Good morning, everyone. So I co-direct the educational portion of GRITT. Can you hear me? Just projected, okay.
They don't.
No, I think it was hearing her just now.
I'm clicking on it. Thank you. So I'm here to talk about the educational options that we offer for GRITT, and they're bulleted up here. And so the first thing you will do in the program is complete three courses in the first summer in June and July. And these courses are modeled after continuing education courses. So they're not 4-credit courses, but they are very rigorous in their methods. And we'll go over each of these bullets up here on the slide so you can see the actual courses you would take. Oh, sure. Yeah. And Dr. Branas is going to hand out brochures that outlines all of this. And then you're going to produce an independent research project, and you're going to have guidance from mentors. And Dr. Musa will talk about the mentoring process in a minute here. And then we hope that you would present your research at either this conference or the Caribbean Public Health Agency annual conference. And also you'd be required to attend monthly seminars out of our entry center. So they're an hour seminar at lunchtime. You can log into Zoom and ask questions and be interactive. But that's something we'd like for you to participate in. Also, there's opportunities to maybe attend Savior, which is an injury group out of the U.S. And again, it's if you can't be there in person, they usually hold it over Zoom as well. And then the following summer, you complete somewhere between 20 and 40 hours up to your schedule of additional courses that are these courses are out of a summer institute called Epi-Summer at Columbia. It's based in the Department of Epidemiology, and so we run the Summer Institute. And you would be able to select out of our 30 courses topics that interest you for the second summer. The curriculum is set for your first summer, but you'd be able to select those for your second summer. Okay, next slide. Okay, these are the 3 courses that you would take the first summer. And Principles of Epidemiology, Introduction to Biostatistics, Program Evaluation for Public Health Professionals. And these courses are asynchronous, meaning you can view the video and use the materials and interact with the professor at your own time. So I know a lot of you are busy working with school, and so this allows you to do this at your own pace, at your own time. So those are the 60 hours of the courses that are required for you the first summer. Okay, next one. And then again, you'd be required to produce an independent research project, but you get a lot of guidance on this project from mentors, and we would pick up, you would select projects based on your interests, and then the mentors would help mold those projects and make sure they're feasible to do in a certain amount of time, and pick a project that both of you can work through together. And then we're hoping that you would present that research at this conference or the Caribbean Public Health Agency conference. And this is hard to read, but this is just an example of our seminars. So they're just held once a month during the academic year. So we have 8 during the course of a year. And again, they're for an hour. We get speakers that are national, and occasionally we have international speakers, and hope to grow that portion of the program. And we can have some of our fellow colleagues here perhaps present at the seminars as well. And so this just gives you an example of some of the topics that you might be able to use. So for instance, the first one is the role of domestic violence and fatal mass shootings. So that's just an example of one title, and the topics vary. They're very wide ranging. They vary each semester, so you'd see a new list of a new topic every year. So you might find something that really interests you. Next slide. And again, this is just an example of the conferences that we mentioned that you can participate in and potentially present at. And this conference would be an excellent venue to present your research at. Then last slide. Okay, and these are examples of the courses that you could take the second summer. So the first summer, the courses are prescribed, but the second summer, you can choose from a variety of different topics. And you can see, sorry, it's small here, it's small for me to read, I have to get close. So for example, there's one on, if you want to pursue further statistical courses, you can take one on applied linear regression. Maybe you're interested in nutritional epidemiology, sleep epidemiology. There are 30 courses that you could choose from. Some of them are 5 hours, some of them are 20 hours, but you could come up with a menu of options that are a total of 40 hours, or maybe due to your work commitment, you can only do 20 hours, and that's fine. And some of these are live, some of the courses are synchronous, they're live on Zoom, where you would have the instructor there that you can interact with, and some of them are asynchronous or online that you would do at your own pace. So that's an overview of the education program.
Thanks so much. I think I'm going to ask Megan and then George.
So I can talk a little bit about the people that are already part of the program. It will be a nice transition before Ms. Doorgen speaks, which is one of our excellent trainees that we have here. Because eventually these individuals that we are in the process of training right now are going to be the mentors to the next group, which hopefully will be some of you. And I just want to kind of give clarity as to some things that they're interested in terms of research topics.
Apparently, the president is coming over, and someone has a card EPP 7912. For security reasons, they want the card to be used. Sorry about that.
So
Oh. Oh.
So some of the topics that people are interested in are looking at construction, manufacturing, food safety, suicide, self-harm, trauma and injury at the hospital, ER, pediatric injuries. We have pharmaceutical research, optometry, so we have people interested in different areas. So these are the current cohort, and they would be the people that would be your mentors moving forward. So I just wanted to give a sense of different topics that people are currently working on. And we do have currently 13 trainees who are going to be mentors to future groups. We have a group from the hospital, from Georgetown Public Hospital, and also a group from the University of Miami.
I think the point is that the topics are yours. You can have a research topic, but it has to be your interest, something that you're passionate about, you want to invest in. It's not going to be our decision what is your priority, it's yours. Your career.
And those are just some examples of what people are already working on.
So thanks so much for that. George.
Hi, how are you? So as far as the mentors, yes, these are the 12 and 13 local mentors. They're either from UG or from GHPC, but we also have obviously all of us. Could be your co-mentors. We have a whole other set of faculty members that are from both, again, UG, the New York side, and other international experts that can help guide you through the whole process in terms of coursework, in terms of developing your agenda, developing your protocol, any of the issues that might arise, and help you structure and your research questions, anything you need, and even professional, mentoring. So you can go forward. It's a 2-year program, yes, but as Dr. Hoven likes to say, we all have a 75-year plan, right? So it's not like at the end of the 2 years, that's it, bye-bye. We're going to foster a relationship with you and move forward. And anytime you need help, you can reach out and we can work together.
Well, thank you, Dr. Musa. Incidentally, I'm in the 4th year of the 75-year program. Now, I'd like to call 2 of our mentees. I also want to recognize Professor Cummins. Professor Cummins has been key in the GRITT, and he could have been sitting down here as well with us. So, Professor Cummins, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Mr. Doorgen. I'm the coordinator of the National Research Council. I was very pleased about my and I'm happy to be part of the GRITT program. One of the reasons Road Safety Council is a multi-sectorial one. It's made up of the Ministry of Public Works, which deals with infrastructure. It's made up of the Ministry of Education, who deals with school education. It's also made up of the Ministry of Health, which deals with injuries. So because of the makeup of the Guyana National Rotating Council, we have all the key persons there, the key persons that can make the decisions. So I was pleased to be part of this program because when I first came to learn about the program, I've met persons that already have research actually, just waiting to be published or to be taken to a policy or something. So I'm so happy that I'm not going to be working only on my paper, which is looking at strategic roundabouts and how we can use them to reduce accidents and trauma. I'm so happy that I've met with all the persons around all the research areas, like for instance, vision sites. I saw on the program, Dr. We are having tomorrow, the youth ambassador for mental health. And I was thinking that there's a program that calls yours. It's Youth for Road Safety. And once we have these ambassadors, one of the things we have to understand is that road safety, we will understand road safety will have a crash. They have plenty of children in schools that lost their parents. Grief it brings on mental health and all the sicknesses. And they have parents and children who might have been in accidents, road crashes, and then the trauma might still be there. It's affecting them. So having this program come together like this, and it's touching in every area, and we always look at connecting the dots, because we always feel the only way we can make the change. We say that the chain is only as good as the weakest link. So if we can have thank you very much for bringing the cadre of persons that we can now work with to make the change in Guyana.
Thank you, Ramona. I think when we started with GRITT, we're initially thinking about University of Guyana, Ministry of Health, and it's good that we included Ramona because she's brought a lot of enthusiasm and also important thematic area to the table. I would also want to invite Leann from UG. Like I said, we started off with Ministry of Health and UG. So Leann from the University of Guyana.
I'm Adu-Krow. Good morning again, everybody. To echo what Professor Hoven stated, we are relocating for the new faculty. It's not a case where we will be further with you on the ground at the University of Guyana in collaboration with Dr. will be liaising with us with the hands-on approach as trauma and injury.
Thanks so much, Ms. Kendall. Like I said, when we started, it was UG and Ministry of Health, and it's good that the Ministry of Health we also linked up with the hospital, TBAC. I think it's worked out well. But you remember, as Professor Hoven was talking, she said it's now going to be open to everybody. It's up to everybody to apply, and once you meet the guidelines, and also it's open to any type of research you would like to do, because the group is going to put you through the methodology of conducting proper research. I'd like to give the opportunity to the panelists if there are any other comments they would like to make before we ask 4 questions. Professor, comments? Want to make some quick comments?
Oh, just to say this is really a major project that will make a huge difference into the life of people. You know, every day we see that medicine becoming a social science. You know, have a drink, gets high, goes home, meets his wife, gets involved in an accident, but it's all started with the drinks, you know. And so, you know, this whole project is intervention. It's something which we all need to be aware of, and it is being tackled from all dimensions. You know, not just professionals in behavioral sciences. But in agricultural science, pesticides, a lot of pesticides are used to prevent suicide. And so we need also persons who have an interest in that area where we can have policies with respect to pesticides control, you know? And so it's very wide, it's a major interdisciplinary approach. Everyone has every sector needs to come on board. So, you know, engineering, everything else, so that we can have that really truly multi-sectorial interdisciplinary approach in dealing with this major disease that is worse than cancer in our population. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much. A couple of comments, and then we'll open the floor to you all to ask the various questions. One, I've been approached by several persons asking how they can be supported to publish. So I was very happy that Professor Branas did talk about the possibility of publication. The other thing I would like to add is the course is free. These days we don't get many things for free. This course is free. So please.
You're sure there are no hidden costs, right? Nothing is hiding.
No.
Because for women we often get tricked like that. Right?
No, there are no fine prints. There are no fine prints.
Well, it's not really free. It's free to the user.
You see what I'm talking about? Ladies, you see the thing?
I also want to talk about the fact that I think about 5 or 6 years ago, the country used to have what we call a research agenda. I'm saying this because people keep coming to me. So how do we? Who is going to fund the research for me? And our project is not funding the research. We are helping you. We are training you to become a researcher. So I think it behoves of all of us to push for that research agenda to be back again on the table, because when the research agenda is set, government is supposed to fund it, and I'm glad Dr. Edwards, is back here with us. You have some memory of the old research agenda. I think we need to get back to that as well. At this moment, I'm going to, and then also I think one thing that we need to mention is that applications are now open, and anyone who wants to be considered can apply. So I'm going to encourage you, and through you to others as well, let others know about it. Some people have approached me, how can you help me get it? I said their applications are open. Make sure that you apply and you should be reviewed. Any questions from the audience? Yes, sir, Dr. Edwards. Welcome back home.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adu-Krow. As Dr. Adu-Krow said, I've been out of Guyana. Professor knows me because I was course developer and lecturer on the Guyana MPH program. My question here is there a preference for people who are not into research? For example, I have a doctorate in public health. And would preference be given to persons, the young researchers, and did not like to be a part of the program, or is it open to anyone regardless of their research experience? And then the second question, because some of the introductory courses, introduction to epidemiology, introduction to biostatistics, we would have gone through those things already. So if considerations given to experienced researchers, would there be any exemptions?
We've had that issue come up this year already. If people have expertise in those courses already, they can take other courses, more advanced statistical courses or another topic that they're interested in. So that's something we've thought about, but thanks for bringing that up.
Dr. Mielenz, I remember when I was in Columbia University, this issue also happened to be there at the time. The idea is if you think you have the expertise already, there is an exam that is conducted at the end of the semester of the term. You sit the exam, if you pass, you go through. So I don't know what is going to be the situation, but it's something for you to decide.
Yeah, I just want to say, we like old people.
fine.
You know, so don't worry about that. What we're looking for, and as I said, thinking is everything. We're looking for powerful ideas. We're looking for commitment. We're looking for people who want to work, who want to actually make a difference. This country is at a turning point, and we see GRITT as being an opportunity for people to be part of the change, part of the change. And to be part of that change, you need certain skills. We want to help you get those research skills to help transform this country. So again, we like old people, look around here.
Oh my God.
We try never to discriminate.
You know, the youth might feel discriminated against, you know, the youth will never there.
So I would never use the O word. We like experienced individuals. And
Yes.
from your experience,
Yes.
we would love to plug you into the network, even if you buy
I
out
like
some
that.
courses or whatever it may be. There's great value. Who
Excellent.
knows where the next great question is gonna come, a great answer is gonna come.
Yeah. Supplement old for experience. I actually like that.
And I think part of what you just referred to, this network, we see GRITT also as creating a network of researchers so that we come together and we talk about what people are doing and we build off of each other. That's part of having a network and having a university is that we talk and share ideas.
I think too, one great thing about Miss Doorgen is that she has such a strong sense of what she's passionate about and what she wants to research. And that's one reason why she's so great for this program. It's like you're so passionate, you have so many ideas. That's what we're looking for. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm Dr. Kendall Daniels. I left Guyana when I was 19 years of age. Half a century later, I came back. And it was a cultural shock in that I find that the persons, the generations growing up in Guyana have been so, I'm not sure what word to use, but the concept of research is a new word to them. And they're coming through University of Guyana, University of Guyana, and they still lack some of the basics that they graduates from other universities would have had. But most of all, the population that I have found is such a large difference in the whole manner of thinking, from the bottom right up to the top. So when we come into research that we have to be doing, it's very difficult. And one of the worst obstacles I find is that when people like me come back, 1977, I've lived on 3 other continents. I'm looked down upon as a comebacky. Somebody coming to tell us how it's done elsewhere. And then you go all over the Guyana government offices. Why can't you have one person with a computer taking all these entries? We've always done it like this. So the resistance is right down to grassroots level and way up to the top. Very monumental. But finally, would you accept applications from Guyanese who are currently still resident overseas? We haven't tapped into that resources. I left Guyana at 19, and some of my colleagues who are professors all over the US and somewhere, and Guyana don't get the benefit of their activities and what they've learned over all these decades. So would you also make contacts with non-resident Guyanese who have tons of things to offer with Guyana's concern?
One thing, we have a primary care physician, an emergency medical doctor from Guyana who works at Columbia University. She's presenting here at the conference. She presented last year. She sees it as a personal obligation to come back and to give. We have another person from Guyana who's a psychiatrist at Columbia University. She's also come back. She was here last year. She'll be here this year. We are always trying to, make the connection. So your point is well taken. There are tremendous skills among the Guyanese diaspora, both in New York and in Toronto and all over the world. We are trying to make the link, and we see the conference particularly as being able to facilitate those links. For the training program, this is a training program that is here. There are people who are here and we want to train. If we can bring the resources of those people who are Guyanese, who are in New York or anywhere else, we certainly will do that. But that's not one of our primary objectives. But certainly not opposed, not at all. Thank you.
Let's go.
Very small pointed question. How many people are you gonna take?
Well, we took in more this year than we anticipated because we had so many wonderful candidates, so we took in more. And we have an answer. Somebody has an answer. They have to control me. Because
That's a hard thing to control.
We had 13, but we went over one, so I think our goal is 12.
About a dozen.
Yeah, about a dozen.
A dozen
Thank you.
only. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't discourage you from applying.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Well, there will be
Oh.
subsequent years as well, so.
So some people, some cases people didn't even apply, like Ramona, we knew about Ramona from last year's conference. And when we had all the applicants for GRITT for this year, I looked and said, where's Ramona? Go find Ramona. And so we asked her if she was interested in applying, and she applied. So people don't always get the message. So you're all here, and that's great. You may know other people who are appropriate.
Is there a closing date to the application?
Yes, it's on the, they said the 15th of February, am I correct? 2023? The 15th of February, 2023. But my question to the panel, I would really like to research. I would like to research because I come from a community, the Rastafari community, and I would like to research the trauma of racism and inequality in Guyana. And I will be, I'm going to submit something here. I'm saying it openly now because it's a pernicious issue that we must tackle. Racism and inequality. It's a cancer. It's a sore. And if we do not seek to get data to tackle it, it will consume all of us. And so we have to address it. I thank you.
Okay, ideas are everything, and what we want is to have the best ideas to go forward and we're gonna make a selection. There are no guarantees who will get in this year or next year. Every year there's a new cohort. So if people apply and they don't make it this year, well, we're open for next
I hope
year.
I make it for I really hope I do.
Can I just make a statement back because I think that is critical. It raises a couple of points. One is it doesn't have to be directly about suicide or road traffic safety. You can relate to these key social issues.
Like my hair, and you don't like me because of how my hair is, because it's, racism.
But we have in the U.S., Columbia, we have taken on those issues amongst our social epidemiologists who are focusing on issues of structural racism as a research topic specifically, because we recognize it's not simply about new medical treatments or something along those lines. Treating the issue of racism and ethnic disparity is a key way to change the very context and to improve people's health and safety. So I want to encourage that. Okay?
Thank you very much.
And the psychiatrist that I mentioned, the Guyanese psychiatrist, she heads the organization against racism in medicine. And she is the head of that organization in New York. She is here at this conference. And she is somebody that we potentially would bring in as a mentor for somebody who was interested in exploring racism. Again, it's open. It's open to the students. And when we hear the ideas, we will try to find the best method possible for you.
Okay,
Yeah, slightly parallel question, but related. How can one become a mentor for the program? So, for example, if I submit an application and I'm not successful, but sorry, because I have experience in research and so on and so forth, I would like to make myself available to mentor people in the program. How can one become a mentor? And two, is there any formal training or criteria that one has to satisfy to be, well, there must be some orientation as to what are your expectations and so on. Yeah.
One of the things we did this year was to actually change of what we were doing for the first year, and that is we focused on developing mentors here in Guyana. So this entire cohort that we have, the 13 people, mentors here. So this whole year, and the next year also, is to train mentors who are here in Guyana. And we reversed that process because when we started, one of the co-investigators at Georgetown Hospital said, I want to be a really good mentor, but I never learned how to be a mentor. So we talked about ourselves and said, that's crazy. We should spend the time and energy to help people feel comfortable and to have the skills for mentoring. So that's what we're doing. So we have now a process for identifying and training mentors. And our card rate is a group of people who will become the mentor. So if you say you're on the outside, you have to think through the system, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
There's no hard and fast rules here. We are in this together. We want to create researchers around the most pressing issues related to injury and trauma. And that's a very wide net. Some of us, like me, were particularly interested in suicide. Other people are, Carol is interested in guns. I mean, people have different interests. You all have different interests. You have roads. Like I said, we want to come together and do the most pressing issues, and we want the best people to be available to support you to do that.
Yes. Could you identify yourself and then your question?
Good morning, everyone. My name is lecturer at the University of Guyana, and this is a very pivotal time for this type of research. I'm glad that the safety she's here on the panel as well. I didn't have to sorry. But I'm concerned that part of injury prevention includes primary prevention and those laws and policies that we should have. And so even for an enforcing of those laws and policies, so for instance, a lot of the road accidents that happen with drivers under the influence and so on, and yet the law, application of the law in those contexts, and many others, and the right corruption that exists in our country as it pertains to whatever it is, domestic violence, people get off, but they do things that are wrong. So I'm wondering if there's a plan to improve the judicial system, the legal system, the policy makers, and police, in terms of training and enforcing and enacting what we gather from this research or involving them in some way.
Thank you.
What you just mentioned about 5 researchable topics. And they are potential topics. And what we need is documentation, research, and publication to identify the problems and to help move us towards a solution. So, that's what we want. Ideas, critical thinking. What are the social issues in Guyana that we need to adapt and we need to understand? So yes, you mentioned at least 5 of us.
And that's sort of like the foundation, right, of public health is we need research to advocate for change. And the change is not going to be easy. It's going to take probably a while, but you have to start somewhere so that you can advocate for change.
Any further questions?
I'd just like to say, in the Guyana National Road Safety Council, it's a multi-sectorial body. It's made up of the Guyana Police Force, and everything we do is we do it with the police force and all the bodies that you just mentioned. The legal system, the legal affairs is on the Road Safety Council. And I don't know if you're aware that we recently passed the bill to the alcohol drunk driving bill. Recently we passed it where they have to have the shops. If you're involved in an accident and you were drinking at this bar, that bar owner will get charged also. So there's a law that came out recently. If you knock somebody down and you kill them, you'll get charged for manslaughter. So if you have a assembly is the laws that you guys have recently passed in Parliament, I think it's been for the president's extension. Those are some of the policies we asked for, and those are some of the things we are working for. So we have the graduate courses, but this GRITT program will help us to bring out more research on all the different areas, like Dr. Hoven and Van Vegan already said to you just now, we had 5 research programs there. So it's to say that we are happy to have all of you guys with the researchers that we can make changes. I think I saw on your program, you said you gave us 4 ministries that were responsible, including the National Road Safety Council. One of the ministries I saw was missing there, is the Ministry of Home Affairs. That's the policy ministry, and that's the ministry that the Guyana National Road Safety Council falls on.
Well, if you haven't noticed, I'm willing to go after anyone.
Yes.
You know what?
Right now, we having United Nations who are there remembrance for traffic victims on Sunday. And on that day, Leann observed that day with an awareness walk. We put a crash vehicle on a truck. We put all the person's messages and persons who the loved ones and so on. We have this long walk. Then we have a short program. So at that program, we're inviting everyone that's going up. We're asked them to write the official letter. We actually speak for 5 minutes on that program. So you will be meeting everybody. So I'm really privileged to go after them.
Thank you very much. I will.
Well, thanks very much.
And let them have it, please. Please let them have it when you meet with them. I give permission.
Well, it's a blessing that you live outside of Guyana.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
I understand that I'm on the outside and I can say things and I can go after people in ways that some of you can't do. And I don't mind. I'm happy to do it. I do it with great pleasure because what it does is to facilitate the process. So I'm not shocked.
I think it's good and it's good that you say these things that I'm hearing them for the first time. That means that some of these important bills that are in the works, people don't know about them because I never heard about them. And it's good for people to know so that they also do something about it. So I think conversation is one. Dr. Edwards again and then Professor comments.
Okay, quickly. Conduct research in Guyana, and many persons who have done research getting ethical approval. Ethical review board in Guyana is a big problem. So on this program, so the students, their research has to go through Columbia's ethical review board, or is it the Guyana board? And if it is Guyana's IRB, what is going to be done to sort of ensure that there's a seamless process? I mean, Professor Cummings can tell you, all of us have had experience where it takes an inordinately very long time to get research approved, and many of the students on the Masters in Public Health program and whatever other programs have suffered tremendously. I see that as a stumbling block, so I just want to have some assurance, and I guess people in the audience, reassurance as to what is the process, so that this can be as painless as possible.
No trauma.
The bottom line is all IRBs are problems. They are doing a magnificent, difficult job. And it requires a certain level of, examination of what you're doing and asking questions. So although we are angry all the time in New York about how slow they are, the questions they ask, why are they asking me this, don't they know, etc. But they are doing a very difficult job. They are making sure that everyone is protected. Now, it's also true that Guyana has had some difficulties with its IRB. And we have had to go through our own IRB, plus the Guyana IRB. And Dr. Adu-Krow has been particularly helpful in facilitating that process. And I think he can speak of how your IRB is now better than it was a year ago, 2 years ago. And in fact, there's a new IRB that's just been done. He can speak to that. But I do want to say, in terms of the projects that you do, it will depend on the project and who's involved, whether it's going to go to our IRB or not. I don't think so. I think most of them will only go to your own IRB. But it will depend.
Just to Prof, just to say a little bit, I think Hoven already mentioned the fact that the IRB, the new board was reconstituted in 2020. And initially, obviously, most of them were new, and therefore there was a feeling to the projects, but I think now they are more functional than before. And what I normally see is that any of our mentees, if they have any issues with the IRB, they should please let me know. I'll contact the chair, and we try to speed that up. Prof, comments.
Actually, I was going to say actually the same thing. That IRB is not veterinary. It used to be. The new members, Dr. Gobin, Dr. Gobin is now chair. In addition to that, I think the issue we have, because for one of these projects currently, where some work with the majority of hospitals, we've already given approval from the IRB, and now have to go through another assessment. I think we need to have a discussion that once IRB approval has been given, it should be endorsed by all the institutions to where the research is being done. University of Guyana is also in the process of having therapy. And I think between the major institutions, we can have that conversation that once IRB approval is given, you don't have to go through another assessment. So I wanted to also go back to comment on one thing. I think the problem we have in that is not just the legislation, but the consistency with regards to enforcement of those policies that we have. You know, whenever there is a major crash, police is on the road for the next 3 days, and then they disappear. You know, and I think unless we consistently administer these policies, we continue to go around in circles. And so there is need for a significant behavioral change, affecting the road users, and also the law enforcement who are to ensure that the road user adhere to the laws. And I think unless we do that, we will continue to do the same.
Quick comment on that. That's an area for research to present it if that's anecdotal that this happens. So let us research it. Sorry, it's an area for research and to then document it and see if we could influence policy change because the policy needs to change. Lack of consistency in application. Yes.
There goes your topic.
So before we open it to questions, I just want to make one other comment about the life of GRITT. So GRITT is currently funded by the Locally Center, which is the international arm, National Institute of Health. It's funded for 5 years. We expect to be refunded for the next 5 years. The second 5 years, we want to turn over the primary responsibility of the center to the people here in Guyana. We want to, this first 5 years, we want to kind of drive it because we have the experience. Second 5 years, we are hoping that it gets driven here. And then the next 5 years, we hope it will no longer be funded by NIH. They will all, NIH will only have funded for 10 years. What we're hoping is that there will be a center created here around trauma, injury prevention. That will be your center. And it will be led by the people who are GRITT members who are conducting the research and become leaders in your country. This is what you need. You need a center where you can have these conversations, where you can share information, and the researchers can come together and support each other and get international support and national support. So I just want to put it in perspective. Although my research group has a 75-year plan, and you are now going to be part of that 75-year plan. Once you're in GRITT, you're part of the 75-year plan. You need your own 75-year plan. You need to think where we're going with this. Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Hi there, everyone. I do have 2 questions, but I think given the time, I'm going to hold off on that. Just allow me to introduce myself. My name is Cara Lord. I am a co-director on the GRITT program. So hi to everyone. It has been certainly a pleasure to work with the team. I wanted to make a quick comment because we had a conversation earlier where we mentioned that the program is free, we can apply and are accepted to it. And then we had a comment about hidden costs and those kinds of things.
Mhm.
I wanted to say that I think the bulk of the hidden costs really rests with the GRITT team who's been so active and instrumental in working towards making sure that they put all of this together so that we're able to benefit from it, because as member who's worked with the team, I've seen the kind of time and the amount of effort that the team puts into the work that they do. So I wanted to give a shout out to the team and say kudos to you all. It has been really amazing working with you guys. And I think my questions were more on two things. One, I thought it would be a good idea to hear from our mentee in terms of what her experience has been like, her social experience being on the program, so that she can share that with those persons who are thinking about applying as well. And then two, I thought it would be a good idea, that's something I'll share back when I actually jumped back on board with the team because I've been MIU for a little bit. And considering thinking about publication, when we talked about that at the beginning, but I feel like it would be a good idea for us to consider maybe a conference, a 1 year one-off conference publication that we do that really puts together some of the expert research that we could see coming out already on mental health and well-being in Guyana. And then as well tying that into trauma prevention research that we're getting from mentees and from those persons. And just really having that, I think, would be really sustainable. So something to think about and consider working forward.
A number of conventions of the fellows now presented at this year's conference. Ramona is one of them. And, you know, as it's been mentioned here, this is a place where people can present their work.
Just to mention, follow up about the publication. So there's one of the mentors has a journal that he's an editor of that has talked about maybe doing a special supplement or something. You know, there are many things to work out there, no promises at all. But that would be an opportunity. And then just to make sure that we're all aboard about costs. So
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
so you do need internet to do the courses, and we can't provide any funds to support that.
I pay that myself.
Yeah,
yes.
so that's good. And then we can't. Your time is very valuable, and we can't reimburse for the time you're doing the courses. Just to be clear, we know that's a precious resource. So just to acknowledge your time that will go into the different courses and projects. So we can't, you know, we don't reimburse for that time.
Thank you. I have a question, and it has to do with a course I saw. Rethinking criminal justice as public health. Could you explain some of that? I'm really interested in this particular area.
Sure.
Rethinking criminal justice as public health.
And maybe what I'll do is I'll come to your phone and give you the link, and it has a really nice description there, and we can talk about the course when we get the link.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
God bless you all.
Any other comments? Yes,
Is there a link that you can put up here that anybody can get a link for contact? I have to find it in here.
You can always go to our webpage, the same page that you used to come to the conference, and you can go to the contact us if you want to reach out, and we'll be sure that it gets to the right person. Also, Professor Branas and Dr. Mielenz, they're going to be at the Ask the Expert in front of the dome over there, and I think 2:30 today. Yeah, at 2:30 today. And so if you couldn't get to your questions, you want to discuss more, please feel free to talk to them.
And there's also this on the back of your program.
The GRITT link is on the same page.
Yes.
You can scan it, the back of the QR code on the back. Also, you little cards in your doing that in the conference.
I'm still taking up your offer.
That's fine. And if others would like to work in the courses, you can Google Epi Summer at Columbia, and all the courses are listed on that page. We should have had that in here, so apologies.
Summer.
At Columbia.
Any other comments from the audience? Or any comments from those on the web? Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
sorry.
just one question. My understanding of the program in the long run is to build a type of pool where researchers, Guyanese researchers can do research work. In the long run, does this program look to collaborate with, let's say, a private sector organization that's focused on research? Is that something achievable?
We're not discriminating whether you're like the young man in the back there or whether you're in a private organization or a public organization. We're interested in the ideas and we're interested in the research. So.
Any other final comments from the audience? And then I'll go to our panelists for closing remarks. I know it's lunchtime and those people after us seem so happy about lunch. So Prof, your last comment.
Never a last comment. I'll go last.
Okay, all right.
I think it's a really great service and we would love for you to join.
Prof.
Thank you for coming here. It's an honor.
I hope it takes part in the program and it's a very intriguing program and I sometimes from the beginning, right in the paper and all that might get a struggle, but in the end, it's like you get that.
Yeah, I think the best time at writing is early in the morning when the brain is.
I would welcome you all to time at the end of the, we can only make something.
Thank you.
This year, we came in this year, try to get next year, but also continue to collaborate with us. I mean, there are people involved in the program here. Get involved. You don't have to be a formal member if you can't get in this year, get in next year, and in the meantime, meet up with some of the people who are already involved. We want to create a community of researchers. So join that committee. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much to the panelists.
Thank you, everyone.
And
thank you.
To you all for coming. Let me just summarize with a few things. The first point is age is not a barrier. Anyone can apply. My youthfulness will not be used against me. It's open to all Guyanese. Enrollment is about 12. Closing date February 15, 2023. You will hear whether you've been accepted or not. March 15, 2023. Becoming a mentor is possible for persons who are experienced, such as Dr. Edwards. There was a talk for the need for primary prevention, inclusion of the judicial system. IRBs, we talked about that. It's good to be sitting here, very knowledgeable persons. Prof. Branas was just talking about the issue of reciprocity in terms of IRBs, so that if 2 or 3 IRBs come together and say, we will respect yours, provided that all the IRBs are well functioning and have knowledgeable person, they could have that reciprocity. So it's something that we could think about. GRITT being funded by Poverty to hopefully, as Professor Hoven said, in 5 years' time to be taken over, hopefully by Guyanese, and I'm hoping probably the UG. The experience of a mentee, was shared, and then getting to the end of it, I was corrected that the course is not free. Your time is at a cost, and internet is at a cost.
Those are the hidden costs.
And finally, the cost. Then finally, the private sector is also could also apply. On that note,
I just want to say one thing. The word Guyanese was used a number of times. Again, it's non-discriminatory. If a person is working, going to school here, living here, and this is your country, regardless of whether you have a different passport, if you see yourself as being a person able, willing, and wanting to contribute to Guyana, you are welcome. Don't worry about whether you're, a legitimate Guyanese. You're part of the cause, part of the solution we want.
To the current mentees that will be mentors are 2 Filipinos that are in the process of becoming Guyanese citizens that have been living here for 12 years.
Well, on that note, on the note of full inclusion, I'd like to thank all of you for the rules that you played, and forward to a GRITT that has so many persons interested. And then also to the media, thanks so much for the coverage.